You know what time it is. It's your boy G Bush. It's a little past 9 o'clock, but you already know what we got going. The Barbershop is in the building. We got a lot to talk about. We're gonna get into a lot, man. We got we got the Haslam stuff. Myles Garrett and Jimmy Haslam, they got the Cold War going. We got LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith. We're gonna dive into that. I'm gonna get into why do everybody always have these cliches, man? This draft prognostication. Why does everybody have some sort of draft credentials when it comes to the NFL draft? I don't even see y'all watching college football games. We're going to break that down. We're going to get into the role of the media. I've been trying to get to this for a long period of time. I really can't get to it because this takes a long form. See, players versus media has been going on a long time, but I'm going to tell you why it's gotten nasty. It's gotten nasty out here, and we're going to get into that. We got a lot of stuff. Cavs, Hornets, and the Cavs done won 13 in a row, but I see some bad habits. I see some bad habits coming up. We'll talk about that. We'll get into that win streak. We got a bunch of stuff coming up on the most electrifying show in all of Cleveland and all of the state of Ohio and all over the country. You know what it is. It is the Barbershop. Welcome on in, man. We want to thank every single person right now, wherever you are, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on UCSS's page, or you are on Twitter. We're going to give you a great show planned for today, and we're going to get right into it, man. First and foremost, make sure you're hitting that like button for your boy, man. We up on Saturdays. We up all through the week. Nobody gives you more content than G Bush in the building, and I do it every single week. Make sure you follow me at GBush91. Make sure you're going over on the Barbershop. Hit that subscribe button so you know when I'm coming on live, and make sure you continue to support and comment. Super chats are available. We will get to all your super chats. We will prioritize super chats. We thank you for your support in advance. Let's get right to this situation. The Haslams. Jimmy Haslam steps out. Myles Garrett thought he was going to the front of the line. Thought he was going to the front of the line, and guess what? Jimmy Haslam pulls something I didn't even think he had in his toolbox. Think about this. This is coming from the Jimmy Haslam in which he's telling you he's the one who called on a cell phone to Ray Farmer and said, get Johnny Manziel in the football game. He's the one who said, I'm going to trade all this money for Deshaun Watson, and I'm going to give up some picks. This is the same Jimmy Haslam, but all of a sudden, he's telling you, hey, you got to talk to AB. Yeah, Myles, this is you? Yeah, I know you want a meeting, but no. You talk to AB, that's the chain of command. And my question to you is, when did he start deferring? When did this man become patient? When did this man become the calm soul that he is? Well, let me tell you something. I'm gonna decode this in only the way that G. Bush can decode it. There's a lot of people out there looking at the way this thing works and how this thing is gonna move, but I'm gonna give you the broken down and breakdown like I only give it over here. See, Jimmy Haslam pulled something that our parents do, and if you've grown up in a household like this, if you've grown up in a household where, you are a check-to-check household, you're a middle-class family, you got siblings, mom and dad is busting their tails to get you them clothes and them shoes and all that good stuff. And, they just doing the best they can to put gas in their car, get back and forth to work, make sure that you okay, and make sure they put that food on the table. But as a child sometimes, as a kid sometimes, you're like, man, it ain't about what I want. It ain't about what I need. It's about what I see other people with. And I want that. I want that PlayStation. I want the PlayStation, and I want the Xbox and the Sega Genesis. I'm dating myself for you guys, a little older out there. I want all that. Because I see John over there. I go to his house after school, and he got that. I see Jimmy over there. I see Derek over there. I see Sean over there. I want some of those same things that they're getting for me right now. And you know what they say? As you get a little older, you start to realize things. And as you get older, and you being the oldest, I started to learn what it was when it was called pay week and off pay week. You see, like many households in the United States, everybody lives paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people do. And you weren't getting paid every week. Your mom, dad got paid every Wednesday. My mom, we used to get in the car, and it used to be so immediate. We needed that check so bad. She used to go get the check. We used to go in the middle of the week, like middle of the workday. She knew the checks was coming at 12 p.m. We'd be there 11:45. And she would go get that check. She'd go cash it, because back in the day, there wasn't no direct deposits like that. She'd get that check, and you know what she would do? She would bring back my dad some chicken from wherever he wanted. My dad can eat chicken every day and twice on Sunday. He'd bring my dad back some of that chicken, and he'd be happy. He'd be like, man, just that one day a week, he got to eat pretty much what he wanted, and he chose chicken. He just loves it. So he got an opportunity. So I'm like, dang, bro, we needed that check that bad that we needed to pay bills on the moment. We had to go get the check early. Man, we would have got that check, paid them bills. And on the work, when you got that check week, whew, you might get you some pizza on Friday. You might slip to the mall or something and get you a little shirt or whatever the case may be. And don't let it be like a season where you're playing a sport. Because they prioritize that. You get that one pair of kicks for sports or basketball. You in there. But then that was work week and then off work week. And when you off work week, the whole vibe in the crib is different. Whole vibe in the crib is different. You know why? Because you broke. You're scrambling up pennies. You trying to put gas in the car. You trying to don't ask for no McDonald's. Don't be looking at no stores. And that little Sears magazine come to the house, you better don't even say nothing. And as you got older, you started to tell your brothers and sisters, because you knew the lay of the land as an old guy. As an OG, you try to tell, hey, listen, it's the off work week. Do not be in here asking for nothing. They're going to put us on these chores. You know we ain't cleaned that bedroom last week like we were supposed to. And these dishes is kind of dingy. I mean, we washed them, but we didn't scrub that pan. We just put it on the stove to soak. Do not get in it. Do not stay out of the way of dad. When he comes to the crib, just let that man chill, bro. He be on some, you know what I'm talking about. And so you say, G. Bush, we how many minutes into the show? 15 to 14 minutes into the show, you talking about your childhood. What the heck does this have to do with Myles Garrett, a billionaire owner, and what you talking about on work week and not work weeks? You see, with Jimmy Haslam, in the equivalent of what Jimmy Haslam said, is this, my good people, is not a pay week. The Cleveland Browns, they had to reschedule Deshaun Watson again just to open up the little measly $12.9 million that they got. Now think about that. For a billionaire that can't spend his money, he like, man, I'm such in cap ruin over Deshaun Watson's contract that I cannot even go out and get no free agents like I want to. I got $12.9 million in cap space. That might as well be $12.90 on an off work week when you don't get paid. You know what? You never run up on mom and dad on an off work week. And Myles Garrett ran up on Jimmy Haslam on a non-paycheck week. He was not trying to have it. He said, boy, listen, he did the equivalent of what you got. You go up there and you say, hey, you talking to what's the name? You talking to dad? My dad, man, I got these, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to hoop, you know what I'm saying? You know, they give the team shoes out, but the J's is out, you know what I'm saying? They red and black. They go with the screw. What your grades looking like? You know my grades top notch, dad. Stop playing with me. Top notch. I'm that guy. I'm not my little brothers. I'm that man. B's and A's across the board. You've been talking in class? You know I've been talking in class. I've been slowing it down, though. I've been working on that. I've been working on talking in class. But I ain't been in detention. All right. You know it's an off paycheck week, right? I say, yeah. Go talk to your mother. Oh. Why you got me going to talk to her? You know what she be on. Go talk to your mom. It's one. He turned that game back on. He just started mumbling. You just know what it is. Why would you go to him on the off week? Right? So, and I'm just explaining it the best way I can for y'all. It ain't matter that Myles Garrett hates him or Jimmy Haslam hates Myles Garrett. He gave him the equivalent. Go talk to your mom because I can't do nothing about it. I know exactly how much I got on this check, and Jimmy Haslam knows exactly how much he has to spend in free agency because Andrew Berry already done told him. Your mom already went over the bills with your dad. She already know what it is. Somebody put in the chat. We had that budget meeting. Hey, how many of y'all? What y'all know about having a budget meeting with your wife? Those aren't fun. The budget meetings are not fun. I ignore. Listen, I be trying to come home late and everything. Babe, we must talk about. Nah, man. I got sick. I got to go to the ER. I got to go pick up some groceries. Babe, we already grocery shop. We need to. Nah. So let me tell you. Let's go over the budget meeting because this is what happened. This is right from the salary cap. I'm gonna read this off. So when you say, what does this mean for Myles Garrett? What does this mean for the Cleveland Browns? Well, this is talking about what they would have to do if they just wanted to trade Myles Garrett. Now, this is prior to they got some cap space. So I'll read this. This is courtesy of Over the Cap. The easier path the Browns would be to wait until after the draft to make a trade when they could use the rules for June 1st salary cap treatment to their advantage. The problems with that are that they would have to pay him $5 million as an option bonus in the interim, and they would receive zero compensation this year for him. For a rebuilding team, that might not be an issue, but for the Browns, don't likely look at themselves as rebuilding. They'll simply see themselves as needing a quarterback with a pulse to compete with a pretty expensive roster. If the Browns opted for the path that cost to trade, would be either $15.6 million in dead cap money if the remainder of the option was removed from the contract of $18.43 million. If it was not removed with the offset of the difference coming in 2026, the team would defer $25.5 million of dead cap money to 2026 when it will be easier to digest the cap. Now, always remember, when you are kicking the cap down the road, you're assuming that the salary cap will go up. So this hit takes a little bit less of a financial toll on your organization when you still have free agency coming up next week. I'll continue. The team acquiring Garrett, if a trade was made in the summer, will be responsible for 14.8 of this year and 25 million next year. In theory, they can manipulate the cap hits however they want. But in reality, they will likely be extending Garrett. A market for a player like Garrett is a bit of an unknown. He's the best defensive lineman in football, but will turn 30 at the end of the season. So whoever is they're getting, whoever is messing around with Myles Garrett, whoever at the end of the day comes around, does their thing, they will, with Myles Garrett, they're going to be extending him. In the interim, some data points could be found in the Steelers extend J.J. Watt, but given the recent contract signed by Aaron Donald and Chris Jones, my expectation would be that they're in the ballpark of $35 million a season on a 3-year extension. Now, keep in mind, Myles Garrett is saying right now that he wants no parts of the Cleveland Browns. He wants no issues, no smoke. Obviously, he's going to probably try to hold out. And probably what's going to end up happening is the Cleveland Browns are going to say this. Hey, Myles, you want to leave so bad. Here's what we're going to do. You and your agent, please go out and seek a trade. Whatever that trade is, get the best value for it, bring it back to us. If Myles Garrett and his agent go out, give you a trade, and that trade is not really palatable or it's not really a lot, what they'll realize in real time is, man, this is what our market value is. So now, if you realize that your market value is only a couple of, maybe a second or third round, if it is that, and then the other team is not willing to give you said huge contract, over 35 million, over, whatever the case is. Max Crosby just got the biggest deal in the world. And obviously Myles Garrett is better than Max Crosby. He's the highest paid defensive player now. Now, if the Browns want to say, well, look, you want to go out there, that trade scenario, we didn't like that really. You're under contract for 2 years. And on top of that, they're not really going to give you a contract decision. What if we just end this right now? We just give you a bag of money. What if we make you the highest paid player? Sometimes that works. Also, it gives the Browns a little bit of leeway time. Now, they can get a quarterback. They can maneuver some stuff in the draft. And if things are looking forward and they do a really good job of getting some guys and they bring in a couple of veterans and it's looking decent, and Myles like, well, let me go ahead and check this bank account because I could just turn around and become the top paid guy. I wouldn't mind that. That's something that's on the table. Now, for me, that's like at a 10% chance. I think 90% he's gone. I think he goes and waits to June 1st. But let's finish this up because I want to finish the analogy. You came to the table and you asked Dad on a non-pay week about this money, and it ain't going to work. Given the nature of the trade request, age, and likely extension that would come up with this, I doubt the Browns will be looking at a massive haul of multiple number one picks. They certainly should get one first-round pick for him, but after that, it's probably a mid-round pick of some sort and with some kind of escalating conditions based on whether or not he gets a bunch of sacks. They'll bump up a third-round pick maybe to a second, something like that. It's really hard to make a compelling case for the Browns to consider this trade. It's really isn't good for the short-term health of the salary cap and really isn't in the interest of their long-term health either, given his production relatively to the low salary in his deal. The Browns should believe that they are a playoff contender regardless of how bad things have been. You don't move players like Garrett on a contending team. This will likely take a while to sort itself out, but I will expect the Browns to hold on to a no-trade stance at least until it hits some type of significant hold-out portion of the season and in the offseason as well, or a team really blows them away with a trade offer. As you can see, 1,000 people in here hit that like button. Ain't nobody breaking it down like this. What are you talking about? I'm giving you, I digress. Let's continue on with this. Let me give you this. But here's one thing. That's the reason he declined the conversation. I know that for a fact. What are we here talking about? You know we don't got no money right now. Myles, we're willing to mess with you post June 1st, but we got $12.9 million free agencies coming up, and you know we can't. They would have to get Denzel Ward restructured. They would have to restructure Jack Conklin. They would have to straight up cut a few people. They don't have the flexibility and maneuverability to trade them before the draft. And of course, Myles Garrett wants to go to before the draft because higher price teams, bigger names, bigger teams, more, teams that are looking to be competitive. Hey, sell me on that. I'd rather have Myles Garrett than some defensive end that's a rookie. I'd rather, dip into my bag of trade value and trade assets. If you're going to give me Myles Garrett and I don't got to forget that, especially if I'm in a win now situation. But guess what? When free agency come around, can't wait on Myles Garrett. They're going to have to fill those roles with either rookies or free agents. So guess what? By the time Myles Garrett get to June 1st, they done already signed a bunch of free agents and spent their money in cap space, and they've already used draft assets and draft capital to get rookies. So now Myles Garrett is sitting around with a bunch of teams that are terrible, and they're like, well, the Patriots have cap space and some assets. So do I want to play for the Patriots? I might as well stay with the Browns and restructure my deal, bro. But here's the question I got for you. You know, I always got one for one. Super chat is available. This might mean something different for me, though. And you let me know if I'm tripping. Usually, generally speaking, a tyrant owner who's looking to have people on the hot seat does not give his general manager, who is very unproven, who has a track record of getting fleeced in terms of the Deshaun Watson deal, who has a bad track record of not getting a talent in the draft, who seems to not really understand what the evaluation process is. I find it very rare that an owner says to their star player, you know what it is, don't even talk to me. Talk to the GM. It's a chain of command around here. I'm like, wow, Jimmy Haslam, when you start being on the chain of command. And I started thinking about something. Now, they gave him an extension. They went 3 and something. None of them got fired. Stefanski, Barry, still kicking it. They said pretty much they're not bringing back Nick Chubb. Been reported out there. Now you got your best player, Myles Garrett, being like, let me get a meeting with the owner. You're like, man, we ain't got nothing to talk about. He's back drinking his water like this. I have nothing to talk about, Myles. Talk to the GM, that's his job. That don't sound like a coach and a GM on the hot seat, does that? Does that sound like a coach that's on the hot seat? Now, granted, it's before the season. Granted, like they could go 0 and something, and Jimmy could get it, in his bag and get in his feelings, like, oh, y'all got to go. But right now, this dude is on his Kobe Altman. Listen, he got run it back all over the decision. This screams run it back. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm losing my mind. But this ain't no moves that people usually make when they borderline on whether or not these dudes that are making the decisions need to still stay there because they borderline on whether or not they doing a good job. This screams like this dude is the Roonies or something. Like this Mike Tomlin and ain't nobody going nowhere. I mean, you just told Myles Garrett to go talk to Andrew Berry, and Andrew Berry already done gave you what it was. Myles ain't going nowhere. I'm like, wow. Did we just make that up? There's a chance that maybe Jimmy on a different plane. Maybe his plan is way different. Maybe we over-exaggerated. Because right now, it's looking like Jimmy is basically telling you, yeah, that Deshaun Watson move was all me. I did it. Who ordered the code red? Who ordered the code red? I ordered the code red. That's who. Jimmy Haslam ordered the code red. I told him to go. I told him to call Deshaun back. When he said that he wasn't interested, I said, get him back on the phone. I got $230 million of them things sitting right in my bank account, ready to cash today. Tell me who it is. Well, he wants the money, but that has nothing to do with the compensation, Jimmy. What is it? Compensation? How many picks we got? Give him 3 of them. Give him 4. I don't care. It's sounding like he done gave these dudes a pass. Is the pass on the table? Are you telling me that this year is already they good? Are they good this year? Like they telling me with a rookie quarterback, they already expect to be a little bad. Whatever Myles Garrett left, we letting Chubb go. You tell me this don't sound like a coach and GM on the hot seat. Maybe I'm tripping. 1,200 people in here on a Saturday in the morning. We cooking right now. Where is my apron? We're cooking. We get to some of these comments, man. We're going to get right to these comments. I got to get to y'all, man. Got to get to y'all. Hold on. Let me get up to the top. Let me get up to the top. Stop playing with me. Let me see. Make sure. We good? Hey, we good at Facebook? Facebook good? Okay, Facebook good. Okay. That's what's up. What's up, man? We get to some of these mornings. Morning. We in here. Ray, what's up? DeAndre, what's good? Yes, sir. Yeah, Charles T. Morning. Top of the morning to y'all. What's goody? We ready to go. Hey, I thought G. Bush had too much of the yak. Nope. Don't even be on the yak no more. Remember back in the day, people used to drink like when you was poor. Remember you used to do like I'm gonna come up with a list of terrible drinks. Wild Irish Rose, Steel Reserve is terrible. A brick of Mad Dog, any of those King Cobra, that stuff I had. Wild Irish that'll have you underneath the bed, bro. Hey, Cavs had just clenching them butt cheeks yesterday. I don't even I can say that. Pause. Let's get to it, man. AO's the one. 216. Jimmy become patient after he didn't fire Barry and Kevin. I was talking to a friend, and we agreed that if TJ Watts wanted to trade trade, the Steelers wouldn't hesitate to trade him because of culture. That's a decent theory. Longest analogy ever. Yeah, listen, that's why I got 2 hours. Better day. I can't do these analogies on UCSS. Let's see. Farkas 9526. Myles has lost the respect of the fan base by going through his media tour, amplifying his trade requests. Honestly, I would trade him. He clearly does not want to be here anymore. I think, to be truthful, they will trade him. They're just telling him we're not gonna do it right now, though. We ain't got the bread. We can't do it. And you know, this was always gonna get to this. Like, Myles Garrett is too good of a player. Like, there is no such thing as a amicable divorce with a really good player. The better you are, the worse the split is. Let me tell you that right now. It's just horrible because you're going to have to do something as a player to sully your image, like say something about the organization. And you know how it is. Fans take everything personally. They think like when Myles Garrett broke up with the Browns, it's Myles Garrett's breaking up with the fan base. That's just the way it is, man. And people are really sensitive about things. So it's gonna be some things that come out behind the scenes. There's gonna be some things he says in the media where fans ain't gonna like it. They just won't. And he has to do those things in order to utilize any sort of leverage that he may have. And then you'll start to hear more and more people will say things like this. Myles is poison in the locker room at this point. Get rid of him, or better yet, pay him and bench him the entire year. Now, Bane, we're not going to do that. We can't be doing that. I am in no business of paying Myles Garrett to put him on the bench. We already have Deshaun Watson. We can't be doing that, bro. Like, we already got a dude that's getting crazy bags and put him on the bench. Let's see. Haslam has no tolerance for insubordination. He is a businessman, chain of command. I'm starting to believe. Is he coming around? I'm asking you guys. Is all of a sudden Jimmy Haslam starting to figure it out? Gee, even when you tripping, I usually be tripping right along with you. I appreciate you, my guy, Michael. I love that, man. You know what I'm trying to bring to the table, man. Hey, man. We ready to go. Saturday mornings, man. You know, I want to appreciate everybody. Let's see. Jason Runyon. It's cheaper to let him sit than to trade him. Facts. At least for right now. All that word salad I gave you earlier, that was all that word salad. I gave you that. That just says we ain't got the bread right now. We ain't got the money. Do not go. Don't be asking mom and dad for no bread on an off pay week. That's just not gonna happen. Mac Dog, what's up, man? What's up? I think Jimmy knows he needs stability in order to sell a new stadium. So publicly, he's willing to let Barry run the team. So if things go south, he could point the finger at him. Very smart. Very smart. Think about it like this. Does it really do you any good right now to sort of have, let me give you this. Does it do you any good to be bad and flipping coaches? Why not let the GM and coaches be bad? And then by the time you get ready to get into the new stadium, you flip the script on them. Be like, I gave it a try. Think about how great that is. You're going to say, hey, look, I pretty much put all the money up for the stadium. I rolled with Andrew Barry. I rolled with Stefanski. I gave them 5 years. I extended them, and I gave them 2 more years after that. You can't say that I'm the same old Jimmy Haslam. I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm better. In the meantime, he's just saying, listen, I'm not about to keep paying them and then pay some new people. I'm going to just stay with the old people because, like, they're under contract, but we never know how for long. But obviously, they got some money invested in them, for a couple more years. So he like, might as well let them route, or let them chill out. We always talking negative. Browns gonna suck, etc. What if the Browns hit a pick at quarterback and win sooner than later? Now we just gave away Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett talk starts. Hey, listen, I've always said that the main thing that the Browns need to hope on is a quarterback. That's why I've always said that, anybody who's preaching and that's telling you that you need a defensive end or tackle or any of that noise as your first overall pick or the pick that you really need, you're in trouble. Why would that even be an issue? That is not something we need to be talking about, because really, in the reality of the situation, the bottom line is Myles Garrett is on the trade block because you don't have a quarterback. You don't get a defensive end and make a difference. It just doesn't work. So the best way to save their joint is to do that. Charles T., we appreciate the super chat. My man, as always. Myles should have kept things behind closed doors. He was at the Super Bowl bashing Browns while Winston was saying he didn't see a bad culture or what Myles saw. Well, listen, Charles T., he had to do that. He doesn't think about it. What leverage does Myles Garrett really have? He's 2 years under contract. They can let him chill out. They can say, well, you're going to play for us or you're going to retire. So what leverage does he really have? He doesn't. So you have to get public. You have to make it a distraction. You have to make it so untenable that the Browns say to you, you are better off our team at this point because you are such a big problem. But the problem is the offseason. We ain't got no problems in the offseason. The only way he gets leverage is the Cleveland Browns start taking these L's during the season, and he refuses to play. Then you get the reporters asking questions. Then you get people saying, well, what's up with Myles Garrett? Do you guys trade him? But until then, man, listen, nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see. What's up, Key? Gee, this all window dressing. I believe they have the parameters of a trade worked out and 2 to 3 on the board. The deal may trigger in June, but agreed to in April. I would not be surprised by that, Keith. See, I like thinking people over here. I like thinking men. See, this is a Thinking Burbson's podcast. You can't just come talk about what everybody's talking about. You got to have your own facts, your own ideas, the way that you see things. And Batonio staying after his meeting. See, Batonio did say. He did say that. Let's see. Let's get one more in here. I think the Browns take Abdul Carter with the first pick. We know right then and there that they're going to trade Myles Garrett after June 1st. Here's how we know. I kind of found out something, but not really. I kind of know that when the Raiders took Geno Smith and they gave him a bag of money, at that point in time, that you should know the Browns is taking a quarterback. Because if the Raiders thought there was any chance, and you know what, to get Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, they would have been in that draft chilling, waiting up or talking to get up. Think about it. They're not moving. They're not moving nothing. He was like, give me. And think about it. If Geno Smith was available, wouldn't you believe that the Browns wanted to go after Geno Smith? Or at least put some feelers out there for him. And for what they got Geno Smith, that he's the best option that we talked about out of Kirk Cousins, Joe Flacco, Justin Fields, Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins, Jacoby Brissett. He's a better option than all those guys. But they didn't even go after him, didn't even look at it. That tells me that the Raiders know that the Browns is getting either Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, and it shows that the Browns didn't have any interest in that, and they know what they're going to do. Phones didn't even ring. Where are we at? Raiders already made the calls, and the phones didn't ring. See what I'm saying? That tells me right now that the Browns are getting a quarterback. Let's get to these super chats. Y'all killing those super chats. I appreciate that. BD Dog 21 says, I think it may be that Jimmy was the driving force of the Deshaun Watson. He said, I owe AB and Kevin Stefanski. That's on me. I'll give you guys a chance to fix it. Listen, I'm starting to think about that. That may be definitely on the table for a lot of people. I'm letting you guys know that. What we've gotten so far screams that, does it not? Does it not? It screams, hold on. Let me get my situation together. That was on me. I'm going to give you a chance to fix that. That's a good segment. Great segment. Make sure 1,400 people here. Please hit that like button. We appreciate every one of you. Wherever you at on UCSS YouTube channel, subscribe to UCSS. If you're on the Barbershop channel, the day ones, thank you guys so much. Shout out to the Barbershop crew. You people have been supporting me so tough. I would sporadically drop videos on my channel. We over 15,000 people on my channel, and it's all because of you. You guys could have bailed on me years ago. Like G-Bush ain't dropping nothing, he's dropping on everything else. But y'all stayed right where y'all was at, showing support. So I appreciate that, man. Facebook gang, we see you. And on Twitter, I'm the best follow you gonna have. See, I don't begin to get mad at you. I actually talk to y'all. If you want to get mad at me, G-Bush, I don't like you. I actually talk to you. I'm the best follow you got. Follow me at GBush91. Let's get to this topic. I want to get to this. Let me set this up. Coming up, don't forget, you want to get to Cavs? We got Cavs coming up. Got Cavs coming up at 11 o'clock. Don't miss it. We're going to talk. There's some things going on with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm a little spooked, Bob. They'd have won 13 in a row, but these last 4 or 5 games have not been cute. Chicago Bulls game, not cute. Blazers, not cute. Hornets, I don't know what they was doing with the Hornets. There's some things that's going on with them. I'm not jumping off the ship. We gonna just touch on a few things. We'll recap the Hornets game as well. But let me get to this. This is something I wanted to get to, and I've been wanting to talk about a long time because the thing that I want to set up over here is I want guys to be thinking individuals. I hate cliches. I hate people regurgitating what they hear on other things. I want to get to, let me get to my assets over here. Let me get to this. Let me get to this. The LeBron Stephen A. Smith. This was always going to be inevitable. And this goes to a broader, and if you're thinking like, well, this ain't got nothing to do with Cleveland. This ain't got nothing to do with a bunch of stuff. This is broader, right? Don't think of it as LeBron James. Think of this as athletes and media. And I've always had an issue with the media because, I am actually part of the media. Tyvis Powell always says he ain't part of the media. And I've always said, yes, you are. You're definitely part of the media. But the reason why athletes sometimes don't want to be known as guys that are in the media is because of where we are in today's climate. And let me explain that. Where we are today is that the lines are completely blurred between whether you're a journalist or whether you're an opinion person. And it's a little crazy that you can be a journalist and go write articles and you ask people questions, and then you come back and give your opinion on it. That's where we are today. But I argue this started years ago. Let me first give you the backdrop, because I hate when I watch videos and people are like, well, what happened? I don't even know the backdrop. Let me give you the backdrop of what's going on. And I'm going to give you the backdrop what's going on through one Jason Whitlock. Now, mind you, sometimes I think Jason Whitlock is out of his mind. He says some of the craziest stuff in the world. I've had an opportunity to be on his show before. And Jason Whitlock be in left field on some of this stuff. But I'm going to tell you what. Jason Whitlock was dead on. This is courtesy of Fearless with Jason Whitlock when it comes to the LeBron James situation. Before we get into that, let's give the backstory so you guys can catch up on what's going on.
Stephen A. Smith courtside. And most people, lip readers, people that have seen this, I think they're trying to say LeBron said something about, hey, man, keep my son out of this. And so that's LeBron James getting very smoky with Stephen A. Smith courtside. Stephen A. Smith has gone on television and confirmed that LeBron confronted him. Let's go ahead and play Stephen A. Smith's explanation of LeBron James confronting him. I believe this is SOT number 4. Let's play that clip.
That was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves. That's what he was doing. I thought long and hard about this over the last few hours because I had no intentions, Molly, of talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it was a one-on-one, I wouldn't say a conversation, but it was a one-on-one confrontation. But then I wake up and everybody from ESPN and my agent and everybody else were sending me that this thing had gone viral. And so ultimately it was unavoidable, and that is why I have to discuss it now. That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard, he clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number. Maverick Carter, who works under him, has my number. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called, because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see me, I would have flown out and I would have seen him and I would have had a conversation man to man. But that is not what he elected to do. Instead, he elected to confront me while I was sitting courtside. Ari Emanuel, the head of William Morris Endeavor, one of the agencies that represents me, along with Larry David, was sitting courtside. I was with them for the game. And he walked right up to me and he said what he had to say. And apparently he feels like I was slighting his son.
Now, that is the backstory of what went down. That's courtesy of Fearless with Jason Whitlock. Let me get to this. Now, I've had the opportunity to talk to Stephen A. Smith, interview Stephen A. Smith. I've talked to both of these gentlemen, right? Here's the thing. Stephen A. Smith really don't care about none of that. He's made it be known. Stephen A. Smith is going to say how he feels, and that's just how he's going to get down. But here's the problem. There is an undertone of how we got to this point, and it started 10, 15 years ago. And it started 10, 15 years ago by the way that media members in the shock jock era started to really deal with athletes. And Jason Whitlock in his next clip really breaks this down. Jason Whitlock really breaks this down because I work with Jay Crawford and he was part of the people that brought on First Take and Embrace Debate movement. And I've told him, and he knows this, I told him directly on multiple times, I believe that show was groundbreaking, it was innovative, but it was also very destructive. Because what it did, it showed people that there was a certain way that you interact with players that got you ratings. And those ratings brought you the bag. And the escalation happens. And it becomes where not only were people saying, oh, I could go at you personally, but I'm going to tell you to your face what I think and what I want to get to. And major corporations sponsor this. Now, I'm going to give you this montage down here. And I'm going to give you the montage. And remember the backdrop of why where we are today and why there's this thing that people in the NBA, when people talk about the NBA, I don't want to be the face of the NBA. This comes from this stuff. See, ain't nobody going to give you this. Nobody gives you this because they want to dance around it. And I'm not supposed to say it because media people, you're supposed to be team media. But the reality of the situation, it been ugly in this game for a long time. Let me go get the receipts. It's a thing called the internet. Here's this montage, right? Let's go ahead and put this. Let's go ahead and put this out here.
Soaring. Let's revisit.
Here we go. Let me drop a bomb on it.
In light of women's college basketball soaring, let's revisit Don Imus. On his radio show, he said this of the Rutgers women's basketball team.
That's a nappy-headed hard there, I'm going to tell you that now. Oh, man, that's some... Ooh. And the girls from Tennessee, they all look cute, you know, so... Like, kind of like a... I don't know.
Spike Lee thing.
Yeah.
The Jingabos versus the Wannabes.
Yeah,
that movie that he had.
Yeah, it was a tough.
Imus would land in hot water, though conservatives would defend him.
I don't think anybody should be fired over this. I don't think Don Imus should have been fired over his joke about the Rutgers basketball teams.
Jim, good to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Jim. Thank you.
Check that. Chris Everett, good to have you on the show.
This? You know what? You know, you've been calling me that for about the last 5 years.
About 2 years, actually, Chris.
Well, you know, we're sitting here right now, and if you guys want to take a station break, you can. But if you call me Chris Everett to my face one more time...
I already did it twice.
You call one more time, we better take a station break.
Well, it's a 5-minute segment, or a 5-segment show. We got a long way to go.
Well, we do.
We got a long way to go.
We do.
I'll get a couple segments out of you before.
Well, it's good to be here with you, though.
Well, it's good to see you, too.
Because you've been talking like this behind my back for a long time.
But now I said it right here.
Right, exactly.
Well, we got no problems then.
I think that you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris?
My only problem is just the whole misuse of the name. If I stink it up on the court, that's fine. I don't have no problem with you. I love jokes. I love cracking on jokes. My thing is, my family, we take a lot of pride in our name. And my ancestors, my great-grandfather, my father, my grandfather, my aunts and uncles, you know, we're very prideful with the Bosch name. And I don't like it being made fun of. And I, you know, I don't think they appreciate it either. But, you know, that's all, really.
I respect the Bosch name, but I have no regrets with referring to you occasionally, especially early and at mid-season, as Bosch Spice.
This man just came up there and told you that he represents his grandfather, his lineage, people that don't play basketball. And he said, if you want to talk to me about my game, please leave me out of the mix in terms of saying that with my family name. And this man sat up there and told him, while I respect that, I don't regret calling you Bosch Spice. This is what that era brought. It brought people who felt like, I'm so big that I'll call you what I want, act how I want, say how I want, and then when you call me on it, I'm going to play the victim. No. You can't have it both ways, people. What you say on a microphone can get you punched in real life. Why would a man tell you, don't call me that no more? And you said, I've already called you that twice, Chris. That's the level of arrogance. And by the way, that's the level of arrogance that my man, and he ain't my man all the time. He be saying some crazy stuff. By the way, Jason Whitlock, you be out of the pocket too. Don't get twisted. But on this one, he's dead on.
Sit on the air. They sit on the air week after week after week, inviting idiots. This has been going on at ESPN, not just with First Take, but they're the leader of it. Hey, let's invite Kai Cenat on, TikToker. Hey, let's invite idiot gangster rappers on, and we can always do idiot gangster rapper. Who do you like, Jordan or LeBron? Barkley said ESPN has dumbed down the conversation about sports and made LeBron fans not like Michael fans, LeBron fans not like Michael Jordan, Jordan fans not like LeBron James. We've divided everything up. Basketball is this beautiful game, and we used to celebrate each other and celebrate the guys before us. But now ESPN, driven by Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, and this whole embrace debate movement started by Jamie Horowitz that has never gone away, it's destroyed the NBA. So again, Barkley's pointing the finger at ESPN. LeBron James, he's pretending like he's upset about Bronny James and the way Stephen A. Smith talks about Bronny James.
Watch this. This is where he got all of them together. This is facts. If you think that LeBron is really, really, really upset about what Bronny James, now granted, he is. He probably said, like, Bronny James gets a whole lot of grief that he probably shouldn't. By the way, he averaged 21 points and 5 assists in the G League. I mean, it's not like he's garbage. But the underlining thing here is why when I see Jason Whitlock, there's still some level of brilliance somewhere, because he hit the nail right on the head with this.
That's the justification, because he doesn't want to tell LeBron James, or he doesn't want to tell Stephen A. Smith and the rest of the media what he's really upset about. He's never liked the way he's been covered by ESPN. ESPN, Skip Bayless, and now Stephen A. Smith. They have been milking the LeBron James cow for 20 years straight. And Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James is saying, at my expense. They pitted me against Michael Jordan. And as I read to you all earlier this week or late last week when I started this discussion, that when I read to you all, here's Skip Bayless, when LeBron James is 21 years old and just lost a tough playoff series, I think, to the Detroit Pistons. Here's Skip Bayless launching this attack on LeBron. Oh, he's no Michael Jordan. He's not clutch. He doesn't have the clutch gene. He started that when LeBron was 21 years old, just in his third season. And LeBron James, as I said, like, hey, there's a lunatic on TV attacking me every day and comparing me in a negative light to Michael Jordan ever since I was 21.
And that was courtesy of fearless Jason Whitlock. And Jason Whitlock is correct. See, the reality of the situation is LeBron James salty about what's going on with Bronny and the way people cover him? Sure. But more than anything, LeBron James feels like, y'all been hating on me since day one. You never got over the decision. You minimized all of my championships. You've been you say Michael Jordan is better than me unequivocally at all times. You find anything that I'm gonna say, it's gonna be an issue. I got all the stats. I got all the I got all the records, all of the meaningful ones. I don't get it. I'm confused. How can I have the most games played, the most minutes? How can you say that I don't show up when I played the longest? I didn't retire in the middle of my career. I didn't retire because my coach, they wouldn't bring my coach back and I wouldn't want to play for the team. I didn't retire twice and go play football or something. I didn't play for all these organizations. I done won 3 championships for 3 organizations. I got more. I got, Magic Johnson is the GOAT to some people. Magic is the guy. I got more assists than Magic Johnson. For most people, they say, man, Dennis Rodman, man, that's great. He's a beast, man. What about Patrick Ewing, David Robinson? I have more rebounds than those guys. The only person with more 3-pointers in playoffs is Steph Curry. Then it's me. I got the most points in the postseason, got the most points in the regular season. The most time, how many time All-Star? I got 3 gold medals. I got 4 MVPs. I got 4 championships. I got 3 high school national championships, state of Ohio. I'm the rookie of the year. I got every record known to man, 22-time All-Star. I've been all NBA. I'm 40 years old and I average almost 30 points and 38 and 7. And guess what? Every time I turn around, it's Queen James this and LeBron ain't that. And let's be real, people. The only reason people put Kobe in front of LeBron, and this ain't a conversation. The reason they put Kobe in front of LeBron because Kobe got he passed too early. When Kobe passed away, remember, prior to Kobe passing away, he was not a national treasure. We still used to have to get mad at people because they used to bring up the assault charges that he was acquitted of every single time they wanted to do an interview. So they don't give you your flowers till you're gone, and LeBron will understand that. But this is more of a bigger thing. Let's talk about the bigger part of it and what the media has an issue with. See, as a young man getting into the game and getting into the industry, they tell you one thing. You could go about this one or two ways. You can go about this being boring and having no takes, or you could be a hot take person, just like Jim Rome. You could be just like Skip Bayless. Maybe you could be Stephen A. And why would you not want to do that? Because here's what people is getting. We just heard what Don Imus was saying. Let's take a look at how much money he was making. I guess it pays to say inflammatory things. Don Imus's net worth was estimated at 100 million times at his time of his death in 2019. He earned his wealth through his career as a radio and television personality. Imus' primary source of income was his radio show Imus in the Morning, in which you heard the inflammatory things about the Rutgers people. That was a big thing back then. And Imus earned a salary of $20 million per year from the show. I guess it pays to say inflammatory stuff. You just saw Jim Rome. You got in a fight with somebody, calling them all outside of their name, right? Jim Rome, one of the highest paid broadcasters and highest paid radio personalities in the world. Under this current contract, Rome's annual salary is $30 million per year. For many, this salary made Jim the number one highest paid sports broadcaster in the world. His record was topped in 2022 with the announcement of Tom Brady's 10-year, $375 million Fox deal. Well, at least Tom Brady won some Super Bowls. At least he threw some footballs and he was kind of good. At least I wouldn't have a problem with him getting it right. You see, when you say crazy things, you get paid for it. Why would you need to tell the truth anywhere in the media? Why would you need to do not let the truth get in the way of a good, entertaining story. Always remember that, boys and girls, the young ones coming up. Because you don't want to be working on the internet, getting paid nothing. You got to, first and foremost, you better be entertaining. Let's keep going. Skip. What's up, Skip? What is Skip Bayless's net worth this salary? Skip Bayless, it has a net worth of $17 million, man. It became a household name through his work as a commentator on ESPN2 First Take, right? Co-hosting the show. He wasn't the one to do on Undisputed. He turned on Shannon Sharp. We all know how that went. Over the years, Bayless has developed a reputation for being a commentator who pulls no punches, or some would say throws darts and low blows against people, but it is what it is. Although he is very knowledgeable about a wide range of sports. Did Skip Bayless write this? I'm done talking about this. Babe, make sure you vet these people. Who wrote that? I have to get my wife, my producer. I tell her she be playing around. He knows why. Get him up here. Let's get to the last one. Stephen A. Smith. He just got a new deal. 5 years, $100 million. I'm not begrudging these men. It just shows that it's out there and it's available to get. Salute. I'm not going to hate on the person, but the reason I don't, 100 million? You don't get $100 million for just telling the regular truth. You don't get $100 million for just reading off the stats. You don't get $100 million of anything by being above board. So Stephen A. Smith, you had the solemn face on, you had the all pink suit, which I love. But let's not act like that it was a funeral. You know exactly what you got to do to get that $100 million. You know exactly what type of time we on. That's why you had to name drop everybody you was with. You name dropped your representation. You name dropped Larry David. You name dropped. He even name dropped and said, if LeBron wanted me to go talk to him right now, I'd get on a plane and move and go do it. All right. You got it. You should. 5 years, 100 million. But please, don't victim. No victim. You understand what debate shows do. You understand what debate shows don't do. And we understand that this is a signal to every single local, medium, or any guy that's sitting on the couch somewhere at home that want to get in the game. This is easy money. All you got to do is use buzzwords, regurgitate what people say, and say the most shocking things in the world, and maybe you could be the next successful journalist. Come on now. That's where this has brought us. So when you read these stories and you read these articles, understand that this ain't about you giving regular information, because they've already told my generation that if you want to be like that, if you want to make that money, or if you don't want AI programs and AI articles getting rid of you, you better come up and drum something up. So you better get in, and you better be throwing punches with LeBron. You better be throwing shade on Durant. You better say there ain't no quarterbacks good. You got to call people's creeps. You got to call them scumbags. You got to point out every time they get in trouble. And then you better do it in an entertaining way. And then you might get in the industry. And this is why the Barbershop's on Saturday by its own. This is why, look, I'm sure there's probably somebody in there right now. We're going to come back to this. I'm going to get your thoughts, what's going on with this. I'm going to get your thoughts. Then we're going to pivot to the Cavaliers. But this is why you on Saturday, G, but you can't be doing that. Why would you say all that? You're doing too much. That's why we don't like you, boy. Let's get to the super chats, man. I love you guys, man. Appreciate you. 1,700 people live, ready to go. Hit the like button where you at. Hit that share button. There was nobody doing this. I'm sorry. Point them out to me. 2 hours? No breaks? No water? Come on. I'm just playing. Charles C., what's up, man? I disagree with Bull take 11-6 was fraud. Last season, Haslam blew up everything. Offensive coordinator, offensive line, quarterback, basically wrecked all 11-6 momentum. Get a good QB, we good. Now look, at least you agree with this. I like the QB scenario. Give me a quarterback. I like getting quarterbacks. I love getting quarterbacks. We need to get one. Here's the thing, though. I think, Charles, there's certain things that the Browns miss, little small, minute things that they don't understand that go into winning championships. I'll give you a case in point. Not bringing back Nick Chubb is a massive problem. And it's not because Nick Chubb is going to get 1,800 yards next year. The reason why it's a massive problem is because you're counting on young guys. You're counting on young guys and a new quarterback. You could probably draft another running back. You can probably draft another defensive end. You got a lot of guys coming in. You need somebody showing these guys the ropes of how to be a good professional, about how to go about doing your job, about how sometimes life ain't going to always work out for you, but this is how you go through it. And a lot of times people underestimate that type of stuff. Those are the things that can set you up and set you up that's beyond the yards per carry for Nick Chubb. That's beyond that. Sometimes you need to have a foundation, and people can look at a person and say, that's the way it's supposed to be done. And it also shows that your organization is a stand-up organization and stands by key people in your organization and your fan base. You know, if you can think about this, and I don't begrudge nobody's money, even Deshaun Watson's, nobody's. They gave him a contract, pay him. Those people put their body on the line. But think about this. You gave Jack Conklin another deal. You an extended Teller. You didn't extend Batonio. You keep restructuring Deshaun Watson's deal. You restructured and gave Delpit more money. You've done this to a lot of people. But you telling me you can't give Nick Chubb a couple million? That's wild, man. That makes you look like a short-sighted individual. And I know people say, well, G. Bush, listen, the injuries, and you don't pay a running back at that age, and maybe they would let Nick go out there and test the market because that was kind of a way to show him some respect. No, you show somebody respect by being like, listen, I got $5 million for 2 years. When you come back, we can renegotiate that. You're not going nowhere. That's how you show love. Not go test somebody with think about it. What I want and what I need in my organization, I value more than what they value out there. That's how you show love. I value you in here. Forget going outside for that. Little small things. Kirk Davis, what's up, man? We appreciate you dropping that membership for 2 months, man. We need best player available, Carter or Hunter. Here's a problem with that. You draft best available. Who's better, Abdul Carter right now or Myles Garrett? Everybody knows Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, who's going to have more production next year, Myles Garrett or Abdul Carter? Myles Garrett. If you get 75% of what the production is for Abdul Carter, that puts you at about 9 sacks. You won 3 games with Myles Garrett. How many games will you win with no quarterback in Abdul Carter? That's just what I'm throwing out there. That's what I'm throwing out there. Hey, G. Bush, R. Mac Dog, we appreciate you, man. Do you think the Browns bring back Flacco or Brissett, use the 33rd pick on the quarterback, then use the 2 pick on either Hunter or Carter, and use the 3rd round, a couple up for a couple running backs? Here's what I would say. I'm cool. We talked about this on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I'm cool with bringing back Flacco or Brissett. You've already had them here. You know they're good soldiers. You can actually move the ball down the field a little bit with those guys. Here's what I would do. I would still take either Flacco, Brissett, or whatever quarterback you got. Well, stopgap, bridge quarterback. I'm taking a quarterback at 2. Taking either George or Cam Ward at 2. Then what I'm going to do is at 33, I'm monitoring the 1st round. I want to see where Ashton Genty lands. Anything past 17 and Ashton Genty is on the board, I am trading up from 33 and I'm taking Genty. Best running back in the draft. I immediately got me my replacement for Nick Chubb. I got my quarterback of the future, and at the same time, I got Flacco, and the fans will be excited about that. Think about that. You got Flacco, people excited about that. You got your quarterback of the future, excited about that. And you got a new young running back that can do something. That's where I'm going with it. That's how I'm moving with it. Super Chats is balling right now. I appreciate y'all. Common sense. Bronny's not good enough to be in a WNBA player, but LeBron's ego won't accept that, which why he refuses to retire. He's a joke of an athlete now. Here's the problem, common sense. That's not common sense. That's a lie. You're hyperbole. Bronny James would average 90 in the WNBA. You know that. That's why there's a big push that men and women should never play basketball together, right? Remember, we were doing that whole thing, right? Right? We agree with that. Okay. LeBron's ego won't accept that, which is he refuses to retire. No, he doesn't retire because the Lakers are like probably the 2nd best team in the West, and they have Luka Doncic, and LeBron's playing pretty well. He's averaging like 30 points at 40 years old, 8 assists and probably like 7 rebounds. That's why he's not retiring, because he's actually still good. And then he's a joke of an athlete. No, he's not. He's not a joke of an athlete. He's probably one of the best athletes of all time. He's easily in the top 5, but everybody has an opinion about it. Speaking of, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to this. I'm gonna get to the Cavs before I get to this other subject. Time flies when you're balling. 45 minutes left to go in the show, and I got 2 more topics to go. Ain't nobody doing this. G. Bush, you speaking facts. Dondi, what's up? I appreciate you. Chubbs deserves 1 more year, not just X's and O's. B-Dog 21, I appreciate the super chat. Fresh Coast Freak, we appreciate the super chat, man. If Hunter Sanders are, if Hunter/Sanders are you all in on one more day one, or more hesitant of a plan rather than not? Great job at UCSS this week. I'm trying to figure that out. Let me see if it's Hunter or Sanders. You all in? I think, does that mean am I all in trading back into day one? If they want to go with Hunter, and they see Jackson Dart still on the board and they want to get him, I feel like either way, the Browns to me need 2 first-round draft picks. So whatever they do at 2, they need to package the 33 to get back into day 1 to either take the quarterback that they didn't take at 2 or to upgrade and take a guy that slipped down the board. I would take a running back. I hope that kind of, I was a little unsure about what you were saying there, but as always, LeBron fans think being called the second greatest player ever is so disrespectful. No, it's not disrespectful. I think the thing that LeBron James, like people that are fans, and I don't even say LeBron fans, I think objective basketball people have a problem with this. Objective basketball people who have played the game, who understand the game, have an issue with somebody minimizing things offhand. Like for somebody to say it doesn't matter how many points you get or how many years you play, that's the most ridiculous. You almost disqualify yourself. It almost make people not want to converse with you because that's ridiculous, man. Everybody knows how good for so long. Like when people say, oh, his longevity is a problem. Do you know how hard it is to play at that level for 5 years, let alone 22? Do you know how hard it is? Like it's like when people minimize them conversations, it's all about rings. You're like, but you forget about everything else, like, and how you talk about the game. Like being reductive about what LeBron James' career is what people get frustrated about. That's disrespectful. Not that you say Jordan is a better player, because some people believe that Kareem was the best player. Some people say Bill Russell's the best player. It's a conversation to be had about a lot of different players. But the thing is, LeBron does not get the disrespect Bill Russell gets. People don't disrespect Kareem. People say nothing about Kareem. They don't say nothing about Bill Russell. They definitely don't say nothing about Michael Jordan. But in this generation, because of how media members talk to people, they're like, oh, well, that's just how you talk to people. He's garbage. And you're like, no, he's not garbage. People just said he was garbage because they thought it was cute. And it made him a lot of money. That's not that. And we'll talk about that coming up a little later. For all you science people, by the way, this ain't for everybody. I still drop stuff. You're going to want to wait for this. You're going to want to wait for this. I'm going to talk about something here coming up, and it'll give some credence to a lot of the stuff people be talking about, and it's ridiculous. All right. So let's keep it pushing. We feel y'all. Let's get to this one. How much time we got? Oh, we got some time. 40 minutes left in the show. We gonna get all these topics in. Let's get to this. Cavaliers. Talking Cavs. Make sure you hit the like button in here. Y'all been waiting for the Cavs talk. Listen, man, let's get to this game. Cavs rally late to beat the Hornets 118-117 in ugly fashion. They have won 13 games in a row. I don't think I've ever been at this position. I don't think I've ever been in a position where you can win 13 games in a row and I still have this little apprehensive feeling. 13 games in a row, and I'm sitting here trying to tell you guys, oh man, 13 games, and I'm worried about X, Y, and Z. Let's take a look at the back box score from the game last night, and we'll get to why it is that I'm a little concerned. Let's first of all take a look at the Hornets box score. Part that concerns me is this. You go down the list and it just jumps out at you really quickly. Miles Bridges, 46 points. 46 points. Yusuf Nurkic. He didn't really give you anything, but he was a bully down low. 12 points, 15 rebounds. Bullied us down low a little bit. LaMelo Ball didn't really do nothing but take bad shots. I mean, LaMelo's game is it's hard to watch. Like, he plays such losing basketball. LaMelo just be firing, bro. 4-13, 3-10, -17 plus minus. Don't be playing no defense. And the rest of it, the Hornets is a bad team. But those two things that are consistently showing up is this. The Miles Bridges with the 46 and the use of Nurkic, right? Now, we've had the last couple of games where either for the Bulls or the Blazers or whatever the case may be, in this game, you're giving up massive amounts of points. Celtics, Tatum and Brown is going to get theirs in the last couple of games. Massive amounts of points, fellas. And the problem I got is this. And I've been talking about it ad nauseum. At some point in time, the Cavs better put DeAndre Hunter in his starting lineup so that they can gel defensively. And right now, defensively, they're 7th or 8th in the league. Number 1 offensive team. They're going to have to stop giving up these little layups and these little, just easy runs to the basket and guys as laissez-faire, lazy little habits starting to develop. And the thing that I'm nervous about is when you have a 13-game winning streak and you keep beating teams and you're beating guys with your bench players, you get lulled into lulled into this sense of security, false sense of security, like, oh, we so nice that we just going to keep doing this. We're going to keep playing our role. Isaac Okoro going to keep getting minutes. We're going to keep starting Max Strus despite the fact that you got DeAndre Hunter playing his tail off and you're still trying to play 6'4" Max Strus all because you can? No. This is what happens. Notice the amount of small forwards and the amount of buckets they're giving us. 46 to Miles Bridges, that could be 60 against Tatum and Brown. And my point is this, again, you should not have to learn from your mistakes by losing. But it's almost like I was sitting there the last game, couple games, like, man, hopefully you know what, maybe we might deserve to lose this game. We might. Because, I'm not sitting here acting like I'm being like hyperbole or the world is over and I don't think the Cavs is the best team in the league or whatever the case may be. That's not what I'm saying to you. I'm saying that if you want to play winning basketball and we want to see ourselves as teams that is going to win a championship, we're directly comparing ourselves to 3 or 4 teams. The Lakers, OKC, the Celtics in the East, and maybe the Knicks, even though I think we're definitely a better team than the Knicks. You're going to have to ramp this up. I have to ramp this up. Let's take a look at the Cavs box score from last night. This is what I'm talking about. You're running, and I don't care about. Think about this. You're running Max Strus out here. 22 minutes. 0 of 3 from field goal. 0 of 3 from 3-point. He had 3 free throws. He had 3 rebounds and 1 assist and a -14. And we just keep starting him. Like this is I don't believe in hide nobody. Coaches do this way too much, and that's how you get beat. At some point in time, you got to play your best. There was this notion that it doesn't matter who starts and it's about the minutes. To be damned, it is. You let Miles Bridges just get 46 points on you, and he's killing Max Strus, who's 6'4". Why are you starting him? Do you like his bangs? Do you like his headband? I'm confused. And you look down, and what all DeAndre Hunter did was seal the game for you. Big time putback off an offensive rebound. Forced to steal the very next time down court. Look at his numbers: 4 of 6, 2 of 4 from 3, 5 of 6 from the line. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, plus 17. 15 points. and guess what? This is, they lull you into sleep thinking that you can play so many dudes. We got so many dudes we can play. No, you can't. Isaac Okoro, -14. You got how many minutes? 13? No, 5 points. Dean Wade can't buy a shot right now. It's about the time for Dean Wade's slipper to fall off and him to go back to a regular Cinderella with the pumpkin coach and all. He played good half the year, and then the next half of the year, right when it get to playoff time, it get to be spring, March, April. Time for Dean Wade to not do nothing. 3 for 3. Can't buy a shot. -5, plus minus. But these are the guys you keep running out there. You run a Max Strus out there with all these minutes, minus 14. Dean Wade at minus 5. Isaac Okoro minus 14. When you get to the playoffs, you're going to pick one of those guys because you know the two guys that's going to get minutes. Ty Jerome going to play. And by the way, Sam Merrill, he need to be getting more minutes. If Max Strus going to be a minus 14, Sam Merrill need to be getting, he's dependent on whether you're getting shots or not. But for me, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The Cavs, yes, they're winning. Yes, they're doing what they need to do. But I'm still not a big fan of what they're doing. And I know Kenny has done a great job. Please don't get in the comments saying that I'm panicking. Please don't get in the comment section talking about, we only lost 10 games and what is this guy talking about? I'm talking high-level basketball with the people that know. If you just want to rave the rally flags, I get it. I'm not complaining at all. I would rather win games and learn on the fly than be out here playing around. But this thing with Max Strus, I'm confused by it. DeAndre Hunter is 10 times the ball player he is. Listen, why are you doing that? Max Strus is a shooting guard. He is not a small forward. Why are you forcing this? Why? Can somebody tell me? And it's to the point, I don't care if DeAndre Hunter tell me he want to come off the bench. Nah, dog, we need you to guard that guy so he don't have 45 in the first quarter. I don't need him to get good looks. I don't want Tatum getting good looks. I don't want Brunson getting good looks. I don't want Brown getting good looks. I don't want none of these elite dudes you're going to play getting good looks and feeling good about themselves in the playoffs because you want to play Max Strus. Am I crazy? You tell me, let's get to the comments. Get to these comments, bro. Oh, we got a super chat first before we can do that. Brody's bottom line. What's up, man? $5 super chat. We appreciate you. Thoughts on Harold Fannin from BG and Nash from San Jose? I like both of them. I think Harold Fannin is going to be, he's the new Gates. Shout out to Camp McKinley. You know what I'm saying? Definitely an alum out there. Definitely does his thing. Shout out to him. I think and I like the kid from San Jose State too. We got to get us a receiver. We got to get us another receiver. I'm not going to lie, man. We ain't seen anybody heard from what's his name? Cedric Tillman. Anybody? Has there been a Cedric Tillman sighting? Has there been a Cedric Tillman sighting? We haven't seen him. What are we doing? Nowhere? Okay. All right. Let me see. Let me get to these Cavs comments. Yeah, let me get this down. Let me pull this down. Pull this banner down. Y'all been good with this. Let me get your comments. Buckeye guy. I think the Cavs thought they was gonna coast through Charlotte. Mitchell said they took dumb shots. They can't overlook anyone at any night. Let them know. That's what I like. This is why I like informed Cavs. For the most part, Cavs fans is not as delusional as Browns are. Browns fans is crazy delusional. For the most part, the Cavs community understands what the task is. And they did take dumb shots last night. They had the Charlotte Hornets with 4 fouls. And Evan Mobley is down low. I'm like, why don't y'all feed the post, bro? Let's get to this line. He got a little one on him. We get a little 3 happy sometimes. We be jacking 3s up sometimes, and it'd be like, I don't know. Oh, man. We be getting a little happy with that, man. Hey, Julian, Dean Wade need to sit. Hey, Dean Wade, I don't know what's going on with him. He can't buy a shot. Mobley's 3-point attempts are down. It's concerning. Well, he did hit that step back. Me and my brother was like, when did Mobley get the step back 3 with the clock going down? I was like, okay. Cavs are undefeated when Spider sat out. They balling. It won't be perfect, but the Cavs will be fine. Hey, listen, they keep rolling out wins. I will say that, but I will say this though too. There's certain things I'm telling you, you better get that boy in the starting lineups. Come on, G. I don't know what that means. We're in trouble. I don't think we're in trouble. This is the best Cavs team we've seen in years. Facts. I've told you again, this may go down as one of the best teams in history if they continue to win at this pace. They win 70 games and win a championship. They are in the running for a top 3 team of all time. That cannot be debated. It can't be debated, but you know what I'm saying. Really good team. Cavs still bringing a game against the contenders. I'll give them that. But they better get your boy in the game. Better get him in the game. Pacing. We can't pace Hunter. We got he tired. Sam Merrill's streaky. Yeah, he is, man. Let me see. Listen, I like Max Strus off the bench. Max Strus can listen. The other day, he had like 3 or 4 threes to get us in overtime. I like Max Strus. Don't get it twisted. I just don't like him starting against wings that's 6'7" and 6'8" and 6'9" and Banchero and Wagner. And I don't like that. I like him to come off that bench. Let me see. Now, I will tell you this. Lawn care for life. The thing is, every team is playing up for the Cavs. Everyone wants to beat the Cavs. Man, we are getting everyone's best shot. Now, I'll give you credit for that. They are. Y'all going to get to smoke every night, and I'll give the Cavs credit for that. Cavs is coming out delivering. Even when I be tweeting, I'm like, bro, they might lose today. They always find a Cavalanche at the end of the game. 3, 4 threes in a row. Get to the line. Spider Mitchell. Bring the ball over. Finish on boys. They do it every night. You ain't going to hear no complaints about that, especially given the fact that what the Guardians and what the Browns be doing. Listen, I'm all for it. I'm just a little, we talking about playoffs. We're not saying regular. This is fine for regular season. We're competing. We talk about playoffs. Speaking of, we only got a little bit of time left. We appreciate y'all, man. I might get no topics. So make sure 1,800, almost 1,900 people in here. Please hit the like button. You listen, I appreciate everybody that's super chatting. That's a beautiful thing. That helps us be able to continue to do shows like this on the weekend, to continue to give you extra content. And I get it, man. We're in a crazy place where people losing their jobs. Inflation is crazy. Maybe you ain't got it, but you know what you do got? All it takes is a simple click of the button, like button, share, and that helps us out tremendously. On all platforms, whether that's in Twitter, hit the like button over there. If you're over on Facebook, continue to hit that like button over there, and we enjoy your comments and subscribe to the channels because that also helps out. It's the same as monetary donations go as well. So let's get to this because I wanted to get to this. I got 2 more topics I'm gonna really get to, and the last one is a fun one. So last one is a fun one. We'll get to this first because I think this is very important. Now, I wanted to do this back to back with the LeBron thing, but I thought I'm gonna split this up. I mean, this is too much heavy with the LeBron thing. But here's one thing I do want to give you guys. And bear with me. This is for the thinkers. This is the Thinking Man's group. So I want your interaction on this one. Tell me if I'm crazy. I really want your interaction. If you on YouTube, put it in the comment section. Is this off base? But I've thought about something and why it is that it's like that. So let's get to this. So we talked about the LeBron James thing. We talked about the Michael Jordan, and it kind of flows with Jason Whitlock was talking about earlier in terms of why it is that people got Jordan and LeBron going back and forth with each other. And this sparked my interest because, you know, the escalation in the rhetoric has started to be getting to a point where the old heads, some of the dudes that I played with them, that I like, Tim Hardaway's, you know, the Mike Wilbons and you know, people that cover the game, it seems like all the old heads is saying like, oh, Steph couldn't have played in this era, or our era was the best. It's super soft now. The 80s was the best. And, you know what I'm saying, you couldn't have got that all back when I played. It's just like, it's a lot of dudes just throwing, and you start to think like, bro, everybody believes that their era is the dopest. Everybody believes that their era is the epicenter of what we're doing. Everybody believes the music was greater. Everybody believes that people were smarter. Everybody believes that times was greater, that we had better times, that we was more close together as a community. Back in the day, we was all together and wasn't no wars and wasn't no famines. And you'd be like, that's all BS. It's all BS. And it's the same with sports. See, nostalgia does a couple of things. Nostalgia taints your memories. It fundamentally changes the way that you see things, the world, your history, your past. And so when I started to think about why it is this is happening and why everybody is thinking like, oh, this is the greatest thing, this era, Jordan was the greatest everything since sliced bread. I just use Jordan as a case in this because usually this is where the nostalgia thing comes in. We usually see it with the NBA. We've been talking about it with the NBA because ratings are down. People have talked about why are the ratings down in the NBA? Why is it that is it the three-pointers? Is it the money? Are people woke? Are people talking too much about social issues? People don't want to see guys people don't post up no more. There's a bunch of reasons why people have now come out and said the reason why the ratings aren't down and why people believe the NBA is where it is. But people don't ever take into consideration where the NBA came from. As you can see, the NBA started off, and you look and you have eras, and you have the Bill Russell era where you won all those championships, 12 championships, and Bill Russell and the Celtics dominance back then. But we fail to realize that there was not that many teams, and there was basically segregation still. You get to the point where Will Chamberlain is introduced into the game, and Will Chamberlain is dominant, 100 points here, all these rebounds. And they told you that Will Chamberlain was not better than Bill Russell because Bill Russell had the rings. But then you go back and look and see what Bill Russell averaged against Will Chamberlain and what Will Chamberlain was doing to Bill Russell. He was hitting him for like 45, 50 points and 30 rebounds. Unequivocally, skill for skill, stat for stat. Russell was never better than Will Chamberlain, but I felt robbed because the old head said it was all about the championships and team winning. And Bill Russell, he fought for civil rights. He was automatically better than Wilt. All Wilt was known for was putting up points and having a lot of women. Then you get older. Then Jabbar comes. Lou Alcindor comes around. So good they had to stop the game for him. So good that you actually literally had to change the rules in college. No dunking because of Kareem. And then he created the ultimate weapon, it's a nuclear weapon in terms of a basketball move, never to be duplicated. Lou Alcindor with the sky hook. My dad used to, when people talked about the sky hook, they used to get that same picture. And we used to look at them old school pictures. Remember them yearbook pictures where there was two tones and it'd be somebody looking up like this with the light coming down on them? Everybody talked about the sky hook like that, unstoppable. They talk about Kareem coming out of retirement, then playing with Magic again, getting the most points ever. Then, guess what happened? Game changed. You didn't go to the centers no more. You didn't go down to the centers no more. It was all about the guards. Then a guy like Magic came along and Larry Bird came, and they gave you that rivalry. A city boy like Irvin Magic Johnson, flashy, good old country white boy, Larry Bird. Two different style clashes, East versus West. People ate it up. People ate it up. You thought Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, that was the original. People ate it up. Games was on tape of delay before you got Magic and Bird. Now you got the rivalry. You got people on this side and that side. They win championships after championships. Then, the bad boys. Yeah, they was nice and passing the ball and playing that good, clean game. And the bad boys came through and say, you know what, we about to ugly this thing up. We about to turn it into a street fight. People tuned in to see how many times you get knocked down to get back up. Right? So the torch has been passed a lot of places. And then you get to Michael Jordan, and he's the first of his kind. He's the first dude being acrobatic with his moves, the fadeaway jumpers, the switching of the hands, the ball head, the gym shoes, the commercials, the Gatorade. He took that torch from Magic and Bird and then upgraded it. And then it exploded. You look at the economy during the 90s. You look at the economy and the wealth and the money that was all over the country. People had the money to go buy the gym shoes now. Now basketball is on cable TV. Now Michael Jordan's everywhere. He's a global phenomenon. He's dunking from the free throw line. Even though Dr. J did it first, he did it in a way that we hadn't seen it. He was fluent. He was acrobatic. He lifted weights. He was competitive. He was fiery. He took what he wanted. He's the epitome of capitalism. And everybody in the world ate it up. But see, nostalgia tells you something. Nostalgia tells you that's really what happened. That Michael Jordan was always the best. He always went 6 for 6 with 6 championships, never lost. But is that nostalgia or is that reality? Because this is what literally we remember. Now we start this over. This is what we remember from Jordan. Give you chills, don't it? You remember watching these games, don't you? I was there for that. Had them gym shoes too. Moments of time. That's what you remember. That is what you remember. You remember Jordan never letting you down. You remember him winning NCAA titles. You remember him winning 6 MVPs in 6 years, 2 3-peats. You remember the jumpers, the gym shoes, and how dominant he was. It was right around the time when you was young, you was impressionable, and it was the greatest time of your life. You was in middle school, you was in college. It's the first time you liked a girl, first time that you even got a pair of Jordans in your life. That was during that time. But we don't really remember this.
The 80s in terms of his Michael Jordan, he was a non-factor in the 80s in terms of his basketball team. He never won, and he never beat Larry Bird. You showed Michael Jordan going between his legs one time in a highlight, against Larry Bird, and that was the game he got 63.
That's what he did.
But if memory serves me correct, they got swept. No, not lost. They got swept. So Michael Jordan in the 80s, he never beat Magic and Kareem. Now, truth be told, I beat Magic and Kareem, and I beat Larry Bird and his Celtics. Now, he beat the Detroit Pistons at the end. They beat us, and he beat us, and they swept us. But the way the story has been told, the best year that he had was he was the MVP of the league and the Defensive Player of the Year. I believe that was in 88.
Yes.
We beat them 4-1.
Now, that isn't told. Because if you have to tell that story, you then have to dig deep into it and say, well, I hear he was 6 for 6, 6 rings. But they never tell you that in the 80s, he never won any championships. As a matter of fact, he never beat Bird, who won 3 championships during the 80s. As a matter of fact, earlier in the 80s, it was Moses Malone and Dr. J with the Sixers. Then you get to the Magic Bird era, and then you get Magic Johnson with 4 rings. So you got Bird with 3, Magic with 4, Dr. J and Moses got them 1, And then you got the back-to-back Detroit Pistons with Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Dennis Rodman, so they can run back-to-back into the 90s. So where is this narrative that you're talking about that you made up that he was 6 for 6? So it only matters when you get to the championship, you count them. So the years you don't get there, they don't mean anything? So I can lose, but only when I get to the championship, I can win. If I win, I'm only counting those. No, you lost for a decade before you got there. Those are just facts, not being emotional. By the way, I'll bring this up for you so you guys can see it. In 1984, as a rookie, he lost to the Milwaukee Bucks 3-1, right? Then in 1985 and 86, he got swept by the Celtics 3-0. 1986-87, got swept again by the Celtics 3-0. In 1987-1988, the year in which which Isaiah Thomas talks about, he was both the MVP of the league and Defensive Player of the Year. That's a tremendous feat. Not taking nothing away from him. Tremendous. Right? You notice I don't diminish nothing. I'm just calling it what it is. They beat the Cavs when Jordan hit the shot, but they lost to the Pistons 4-1. Gentlemen's sweep. 1988-89. They did get better. They beat the Cavs. They beat the Knicks. It's still lost to the Pistons. 4-2. And 1988, 89, 1990. This is all the way to 90. Yes, you beat first round, you beat the Bucks. Second round, you got the Sixers. You lost to the Pistons again. 4-3. You didn't crack anything till 1991. You had already been in the league 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. But as we look, we talk about it all the time. The reason that, we talk about it all the time, but it was 6 for 6. Jordan was 6 for 6, never lost. Never lost it. We've already established he lost it for the first 6 years. I have a screenshot. I have a little picture right here, right? We don't realize that we talk about longevity, right? We jeer at longevity when it comes to LeBron playing for that many years at that peak. You realize after the first 3-peat, Jordan was burned out. See, it's called a skill set to keep playing when you don't want to. It's called endurance. It's called intestinal fortitude. It's called longevity when you do something even though you don't have the energy to do it. See, Jordan retired after the first 3-peat for 2 years to play baseball. Can you imagine if LeBron did that and went to just play football? They would kill him for it, especially after a 3-peat. He comes back. Right? He comes back. Did you forget the year that they lost to the Orlando Magic when they came back wearing 45? He didn't win a championship that year. They got beat by the Orlando Magic. What are you talking about? 6 for 6? I'm confused with the 6 for 6. So we only count the years he made it. None of the other years count because he didn't win that year. And no hate. This is all facts. And then we talk about the time period where he went to the Wizards. Nobody told Michael Jordan to retire after 98. In fact, some people would tell him, listen, bro, you could have actually stayed when the front office said we're not giving Scottie Pippen no money or Phil Jackson no money. You could have said, you know what? I'm going to prove that I'm that guy. I don't need Scottie Pippen or Phil Jackson. I'm going to stay here and get these rings. Let him go. I'm going to be here for the Bulls and play until I'm done being here. But no, he retired again, which is his prerogative. But he didn't go 6 for 6 with the Wizards. So there's a lot of things that have changed, and I could give you the scientific reason why they changed. Let's talk about it.
Powerful that it affects our decision. Nostalgia is a powerful thing, but can it be so powerful that it affects our decision making? Think about the Fresh Prince theme song. That should fill you with glee, or likely you're dead inside. That feeling is nostalgia, and while it feels good, it doesn't always lead to making good decisions. So, how does nostalgia permeate the brain, and what exactly does it do to our decision making? Hit me with that theme song, man. I knew you were gonna say that, so I got one. Science. If you know me, you know I love the 90s, especially all the jams. Michael Jackson's Jam, Def Jam, NBA Jam, Jock Jam, Space Jam. Wow, we had a lot of jams back then. And me loving the 90s makes me see the world differently than someone who, say, loves the 1950s. Nostalgia makes you look at the world through rose-colored glasses, and we have an emotional connection to memories like when we hear No Scrubs in the Club or when someone else hears Bruce Springsteen on the AM radio. These emotions come from the brain, and you know how this goes. Now I'm gonna do some science, you'll ingest it, we'll have fun. One study out of Japan defined nostalgia as experiencing predominantly positive emotions when remembering autobiographical events. Autobiographies are stories about us, our first date with Tevin Campbell, or when I realized that having fun isn't hard when you have a library card. Nostalgia is our individual memories of what happened within those autobiographies and are affected by the positive emotions we associate with them, the rose-tinted history goggles. Exposure to conditions inspiring nostalgic feelings activate part of the brain associated with three things: memory, emotion, and reward. The amygdala, known to modulate emotional responses, works in tandem with the hippocampus, responsible for memory, to activate parts of the brain linked to reward like the ventral striatum and the substantia nigra, among other regions. So, amygdala and hippocampus, who's the boss? It's Judith Light. Look it up, that's a reference. The amygdala and the hippocampus interact with each other to encode our memories, and research suggests that they may actually govern two different memory encoding mechanisms, but they interact when emotion is involved. Think about a memory that brings you joy. You're getting that warm, positive feeling all over, right? That's dopamine. Positive emotions have been linked to stronger, detail-oriented memories, but research also suggests that memories deteriorate over time, and both positive and negative emotions can have an effect on how we remember incidents, which is part of why eyewitness testimony can be faulty in the courtroom, so hold on to those good times, but they may not be 100% reliable in a court of law. A 2015 study cited the positive effects of nostalgia as a stabilizing force, allowing us to push forward with a sense of personal continuity. A wonderful way to track our own growth over time through anecdotes. And we already know that nostalgia makes us feel a euphoric feeling. This all sounds good, but while we use information from our past to dictate our future, it's important not to let nostalgia cloud that future. Research shows that people tend to favor positive memories over negative ones. That makes sense. We want to remember fun memories over whack ones. On the NPR podcast Hidden Brain with the main man Shankar Vedantam, he chatted with psychologist Clay Rutledge, who discussed the danger of allowing nostalgia to govern future decisions. As negative memories start to fade, positive ones rise and bias us towards ignoring the complexities of different situations and lean away from putting ourselves in other people's shoes to look at an issue, event, or situation. And it might be because we're low-key drunk on nostalgia. Nostalgia can help bring about positive moods and helps people cope with depression, but our individual or collective nostalgia shouldn't govern everyone else's futures. The past is the past for a reason. When it comes to emotions, nostalgia is pretty one note, and in an ever-changing, multicultural, social landscape, maybe we shouldn't let past passions define the next days of our lives.
I mean, I couldn't have said it much better. I mean, the narrative in which the weave had been weaved is there for you. I had to take a look at it from a scientific standpoint. I said, why is all these people thinking that? Even me. Why do I believe that Jay-Z and Nas era is the best writing and rapping I've ever heard in my life? Why is it that I get emotional when I just think about spring quarter and smell the food in the air and the flowers blooming and you're like, man, I'm gonna go to the club tonight? Why is it when I look at a pair of Jordans and they come out and they re-release, they sell out immediately and because I wanted those when I was younger. I wanted a starter jacket and couldn't get it. But now I'm older and I can get it and it makes me feel good. But it's the same shoes, bro. See, nostalgia, what it does. All the negative parts about Michael Jordan or all the other stats and events that we talk about in the past, guess what? We forget those. All the good flowery stuff rise to the top and all we say is 6 for 6. We don't remember what Jordan did from 84 to 90. We don't remember that he went to the Wizards and was looking terrible and they won no games. We don't remember that he retired twice in the middle of his three-peats. We don't remember how great the team of the Houston Rockets were when they won back-to-back championships in the middle. We don't remember that he lost to the Orlando Magic when he came back wearing 45. All we remember is Michael Jordan, the ball head, dunking from the free throw line, and the cultural phenomenon. Nostalgia, it's a funny thing. Don't let it cloud your judgment. That was fire. I don't care what you're saying. That was fire. You can't tell me nothing. Like, that was the whole segment was fire. Pat my own self on the back. Let's get to this. I got one more thing I want to do before we get to it. My man, we got a lot of super chats. Y'all out here cooking today. Y'all cooking. Y'all cooking. The game scored 63 points. They lost in overtime. I was a kid. I remember watching it. Ultimately got swept. I played 15 years, so 9 of the years he never made the finals. Whew. Right. You see what I'm saying? Ain't that crazy how that worked? Ain't that P. Rothstein? G. Bush. Then was TV last time a reach was taken in the top 5 and it worked. The best examples are Baker with Tampa and Blake Bortles. See, here's the thing. I'm going to save my time. I was going to do another topic. I was going to do it. But I'm telling you, Jordan, there's no such thing as a reach. Ask yourself this question. Who decides if it's a reach or not? Is it McShay? Is it Kuiper? Is it you? Is it me? What's a reach? I'll give you an example. Why everybody walking around talking about they got a big board? You don't got a big board, dog. There's no such thing as a big board. Whose board is a reach? Because I heard, if you think of Todd McShay, I heard Todd McShay say that Patrick Mahomes is a day 2 player. I heard McShay say that what's the name? Like Lamar Jackson should be 2nd or 3rd round. I heard the staff of PFF say that Josh Allen is a poor man's Baker Mayfield. I heard McShay say, facts, go back and rewind it, that Jalen Hurts would not take anybody to the Super Bowl, including the Philadelphia Eagles. So what's a reach? Is it your opinion or my opinion? What is it? Jordan's father was murdered. If LeBron James' mom died, probably that's what you're saying. Shout out to rest in peace to Michael Jordan's father. I know that was a traumatic time in his life. That does need to be placed and talked about. When you do have a traumatic death in your life, that plays a big role in what you think about your job and everything too. So I don't take no like shots at Jordan for that. At the end of the day, he needed to take time when he took time. So let's keep it pushing. They act like he only played 6 seasons in the NBA, but they don't count the Wizards years, huh? He got the GOAT. Not anymore. Sorry, not sorry. Hey, listen, Pete Rothstein, the facts be kicking it. Facts be kicking it. Crazy, Master Mosh. Crazy thing is you broke down the mental parts of it and people still won't comprehend. See, I take time to do this for you because I want to show that there's levels to it. I want thinking individuals on this channel. Don't just tell me Jordan was the best because Jordan was the best. I gave you scientific proof. I gave you scientific knowledge. I gave you brain activities and waves that said, this is why we believe, all of us, not just me, not just you. Everybody is infallible to nostalgia. I still am. I love the Cavaliers. He beat my Cavs like the brakes beat off of them. And every time I see them shoes in that store, I'm going to get them. Ask my wife. Because when I buy those shoes, I buy a part of my history, a part of my childhood, a part of my life that I can no longer get back. Those shoes are a gateway and a time portal into greater things that will never come back. That was cold. That was cold. I'm going to tell you about that. 10 scoring titles, defensive player, 5 MVP, 6 rings. I like it. I like it. They only talk about MG's victories, not his failures, and they only talk about LeBron's failures, not his victories. Like at 22, leading the inferior team past a 4-time Eastern Conference champion, stop the cap. P. Rothstein, you know the great thing about it is, I want people to opine. I want you to, and here's what I want you to do. Listen to because I'm going to put this clip up. I got specific instructions. What I want you guys to do is I want you to specifically speak to the information that I've placed in this video so that you can then have a conversation about whether or not you believe nostalgia plays a reason and why Michael Jordan seems to be unanimously always anointed and is never going to be taken off a pedestal. Because for a lot of people, it's a non-starter conversation, and I get it. I gave you the scientific proof of why it is. But we know by facts, if you break it down a little bit, there's some holes in his game. And if you like Jordan, you just say, I like him because, I like his game. It was my era. I like the way he played. He's just going to be number one for me. That's fine. I got respect for it. But you don't got to diminish LeBron's game. P. Ross, thank you so much for your super chat. You guys have been tremendous. Charles T. He didn't take time off of his father. He went on the tour with the media trying to play baseball. That's not a break. Suspended for gambling. Well, there's always that. There's always Charles T coming up with the nah, this is truth serum. They did so he was gambling a lot. David Stern, there's some questions about that. Yeah, he was playing baseball a lot. Let's see. Let me see. Let's see. We get one or two more in here. Hold on. We don't want to do all that. Nope, we ain't gonna do that. Oh, we over time anyway. We over time. Let's finish it on a high note. So listen, I want to thank everybody for being with me for a 2-hour episode, man. You guys are making these episodes very fun for me. Hopefully I can still continue to give you this level of content. If you like this content, please subscribe to our channels on UCSS. Please subscribe to my personal channel on YouTube. And also follow me on Facebook, man, and X and Twitter. I want to thank you guys for participating and showing up and digesting this content the way we always do. As always, make sure you follow me on Twitter, follow me on all the places. And the Barbershop, it's not a real place. It's about sports, music, and culture. But the best part of it is you guys. You are the best part of it. The interaction and what we do is the best part of it. And as I always say, even though I'll be liking what they be saying, even though sometimes I'll be upset and I'll be going crazy, it's always go Indians, or excuse me, Guardians. Go Cavs, and ultimately go Browns. Have a great rest of your weekend. Stay safe. Peace.